Welcome to the party. I'm Sam Ekstrom of Locked On Sports Minnesota. -8 this morning. Already forecasting the Vikings turnover differential next year.
Hey, this is Arif Hasan with the Wide Left Substack. The Combine invite list was released, 329 players. Once again, I was snubbed.
I'm Luke Braun of Locked On Vikings. That's tragic. We've all seen Arif's tape.
Better than Sam's tape, though. What's going on, Luke Inman, at Luke_Spinman? I got another draft crush. I'm digging for the Vikes on today's show.
Locked On Sports Minnesota Podcasts. It's endless Minnesota Vikings talk with the diverse voices of your local experts. It's time for the Minnesota Football Party. It's your guys hanging out talking next-level Vikings football. So join in with Arif Hasan, Locked On Vikings Luke Braun, Superior Sports Talk's Luke Inman, and Vikings insider Sam Ekstrom, plus the biggest names in Minnesota football for the Minnesota Football Party. And it starts now.
Hello, happy Thursday. Welcome into the Minnesota Football Party on Locked On Sports Minnesota. It's all part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you for making us your first listen or watch today. For your second one, check out Locked On Vikings with Luke Braun, who produces great daily Vikings content, and find our audio on the Locked On Vikings podcast feed wherever you get your podcasts. You met the Lukes, you met Arif. I'm Sam Ekstrom. Ron Johnson should join us on location, mystery location today. You'll find out along with us where Ron might be on his appearance on this Thursday on the Minnesota Football Party. he's on the loose.
Where in the world is Ron Johnson?
Where in the world is Ron Johnson? Today, the Vikings secondary is going to get retooled. How do we want that to take shape? We'll review how the scheme was last year, how the secondary looked last year, and debate how much continuation of that we want in 2025. Plus, we continue our free agency preview with the safety position and Luke Inman's prospect of the day. Let's dive right in. I saw a report. Jeremy Fowler seems to be getting a lot of the leaks this offseason. He's winning the leak race. He's beating Tom Pelissero in a tight battle.
Yeah.
Jeremy reports
It's
that
soft.
Yeah, it's not concrete enough. That's why he runs with it. Tom Pelissero, it's not real enough for him yet. That's what Jeremy Fowler is for.
Bridal balloon, Jeremy
non-committal report.
Yeah, like, hey, here's the sense. I'm getting a vibe,
This will be great for aggregation. Another great aggregation nugget he dropped was that the Vikings are leaning Cam Bynum over Byron Murphy. Is
this a play the sound kind of moment? Are we playing the sound?
No,
that's not enough.
I have some restraint, Arif. Give me a little bit of
okay. After your Macho Meachip sequence over the past couple of weeks, I don't know. I was wondering
if Macho asks me for the sound in relation to this, I will oblige. He has not asked me for the sound, so I'm going to stand my ground.
I have some restraint. Okay,
I don't like how much power he has here.
Yeah, this is rough.
He wasn't elected.
Macho Meach running Doge.
Macho Meach has the treasury login.
That's our starting point. Byron Murphy, who is forecast by SpotTrack at $22 million per year in free agency, and honestly, I can't disagree with that. I think he makes probably 20. I mean, at worst, he's making like 18. But I think that someone of his age, of what he's done the last 2 years, I think he's making a boatload. Cam Bynum, I could see making about $15 million per year. They're both going to be costly. So let's start with Luke Inman. Where would you put your resources between Cam Bynum, the safety, Byron Murphy Jr., the cornerback?
Oh boy, I think when I pull up, I know we're going to talk about these free agent safeties. I'm looking at this free agent safety group right now. There's a handful of solid dudes out there. I would love for the Vikes, any one of them. Now, it's kind of tough predicting or projecting free agency numbers, because all it takes is one team with a boatload of money who's in rebuild mode to go in and like way overpay for one guy at the top, and it kind of domino effects. There's a snowball effect, kind of ruins some of the market, oversaturates some of the market, and now all of a sudden I'm spending a couple more mil than maybe I initially projected. I just look at this cornerback room right now and how bare the cupboard is. And even though he's probably going to cost a little bit more, like you're saying, Byron Murphy is just such a need, I feel like, in that cornerback room. I mean, you need 3 good corners in this league right now. You do. Even with Flores' defense playing a lot of 3 safety looks and packages, you still need 3 good guys. And Murphy, he was rock solid this year. As far as like a free agent pickup go, when you look at his body of work, he was rock solid over these last 3 years. I think you look at the other guys, what you were paying for them, guys like Shaq Griffin and Gilmore. I mean, they did their jobs. They were fine. They didn't move the needle much, if at all. They didn't give you any, competitive edge or big advantage week to week matchup wise. They were just 2 smart, capable veterans. Not mad about it. Did pretty good all in all. But you just need 3 good corners now. And I think starting with Murphy, if you lock him up as that bona fide kind of cornerback 1 in that room, then you can start building around that after that and kind of fill in, whether it's more free agency guys, veterans dudes, or maybe you want to take another stab at the draft, whatever it may be. I think you got to start with that pure number 1 cornerback and get some more warm bodies in that room. I'm not saying that I wouldn't love Cam Bynum back as well, but I'm looking at this free agency group, like I said, and there are some capable guys, even if it costs around the same amount of money as Cam Bynum. So there's a lot of preferences in there. It's kind of a pick your flavor. Cam Bynum, obviously, you're looking for more of a ball hawk, free safety type of guy. And there is at least 2 or 3 guys I'm looking on this list, which we'll get to here in a second, that I would be more than fine with. So give me Byron Murphy, a little bit more money, but I think, especially with how much money they have, and granted, they're going to have to spend a lot of it. There's a lot of holes and needs to fill, but I think I would want to start with that cornerback 1. It just help me sleep a little bit better at night, I feel like. Josh Metellus, we'll see what happens with Harrison Smith when it's all said and done, but Byron Murphy, I think, is just the bigger need, even if it does cost you a little bit more money at the end of the day.
Yeah, greater positional value at cornerback, certainly. And, I mean, Braun, we agree, I think, that the Vikings need to make at least one big splash at the cornerback position if you want to really solidify it. And if you're going to make a big splash, why not have it be the guy that you've had in the building the last 2 years? That seems to make sense to me. But Kwesi, always hesitant to pay one of the highest priced guys on the market. He doesn't like that price point, which could be what the holdup here is.
Yeah, you'd be buying high, right?
Yeah.
Because he's had a career year. I think a career year in interceptions has to be, right? Pro Bowl, all that.
6.
I guess I'm of 2 minds, because my instinct is, they need to keep something about the secondary, like about the cornerback room in place, so they're not completely starting from scratch every single year. But at the same time, like Luke said, if you do let Murphy walk, there's a lot of names out there on that corner market that look really nice. So if you're not spending the money on Murphy, you're just spending it on a different one of those guys. It's like, okay, whatever, right? And you're losing the consistency, but maybe you're saving a little money. Maybe the value is there. So I like get it. But on the other hand, the Vikings need 3 corners. That's the need right now. And if they do let Byron Murphy walk, they will need to sign all 3 of those corners or start using their limited draft capital on it. And I don't think they want to go into the draft without that solved, like without an answer. Even if it's an unexciting one, they're going to want to have an answer. So if you are letting Byron Murphy walk, get ready, because in the first 2 days, like the tampering days of free agency, you're going to get 3 starting corners to join the Vikings. Or maybe one of them joins in May after nobody else wants to sign him, like Stephon Gilmore.
The Gilmore signing, the late in the game.
Yeah, one good free agent, Mekhi Blackman, and the most washed dude alive. Like, that feels like where we're headed.
Yeah.
Arif, where you at?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I prefer Murphy over Bynum. I don't know that he's a $20 million guy. I know PFF projects around 17, but at $3 million a year, we're kind of playing around with numbers. But it feels like, in terms of the demands at the position, right? Obviously, the Vikings run a safety system that requires kind of a lot of safeties. You can't have a pure free safety, you can't have a pure box safety. But the great thing about the NFL is that fewer of those safeties have entered the NFL over the past couple of years. We've got a lot of versatile safeties, and this market is full of very versatile safeties and players who have body types that Brian Flores has used effectively in the past. So, somebody like a Jeremy Chin is not somebody that fits a role in the current Vikings defense, right? That's just not the way it's constructed. But Brian Flores has the ability to kind of use that kind of guy, right? And so I think that there's just a lot more replaceability at safety than there is at corner. Obviously, there are some good names at the corner market, but in terms of like long-term free agent signings, there's like 25, 26, 27-year-old safeties. There's not as many of those at corner. You've got 30, 31-year-old corners, a little bit more, right? And if it turns out they sign Bynum, save a little bit of money, use that extra money to sign DJ Reed, I'm happy. Like these are all like theoretical discussions, and they could end up in a spot where they make the kind of free agent splash that I'd be really excited by. But I kind of doubt that's going to happen. Like you mentioned, they don't typically, or at least it doesn't seem like Kwesi likes to go for these huge splash free agent signings. Not that Jonathan Bernard wasn't an expensive signing that was worth it, but top of the market type deals seem to be a little bit less kind of within their wheelhouse.
The Christian Wilkins, for example,
right?
Like
exactly.
Top of the heap.
Yeah, the difference between Grenard and Danielle Hunter.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And so, I mean, I like a lot of the secondary free agent market a lot more than when we were, discussing like guards, right, in free agency. Like this is a much better market for those two. But part of the reason it's a decent market is because the Vikings are flushing so many of their own members of the secondary into it. And I don't know. I don't love the idea of entering the draft with like a, forcing the pick, especially because it seems like cornerbacks, and maybe my experience is colored by the fact that Zimmer cornerbacks in particular take some time, but it does feel like cornerbacks sometimes take a little bit of time. Not everybody's a Sauce Gardner or Petrus Surtain, right? Mm-hmm. And so you might end up with a Deonte Banks who had a really awful year last year. Who knows? He might turn out to be good, but that could be the situation you're in, where you've got a rookie competing with like like another Stephon Gilmore type. You've got Mekhi Blackman, and maybe you bring back Shaq. Right, like that seems pretty easy and doable, and he's like a mid-market signing. You don't got to worry about that too much. But there's a lot of signings to take care of, and I think I'd rather take care of them at safety than at corner, just because of the nature of these markets, the expense involved, and the fact that I think probably system familiarity might matter a tiny bit more at corner. I don't know, even though there's a lot of complexity put on the safeties, it just feels like it might matter a little bit more at corner, and so I'd rather have a little bit more continuity there.
Who's the last corner that they've hit on in the draft, by the way? Everybody talks about, they missed on Booth and Caleb Evans, but, you can go back to Jeff Gladney and Mike Hughes. They have used a lot of early capital at that position and a lot of misses, a lot of swings and misses in the draft. And when you have that many swings and misses in the draft at the same spot, a spot that, like Luke said, you need three good corners at, that's how you get put in this position sooner or later.
Trey Wayne? No way is it Trey Wayne's. That's way too long ago.
You could make an argument that Mike Zimmer
never
never had a hit because Wayne's, I think, is borderline. Mac
at 11 overall. No, at 11 overall, Wayne should have delivered more than he did. 2 good years. Come on.
Marcus Peters, man. Come on.
Xavier Rhodes might be the last legitimate hit.
There you go.
A Frazier pick.
That's 12. We're talking 12 years ago. 2013.
Yeah.
The Vikings last year, pass defense. We're not going to judge them based on yards because they were just playing from ahead constantly. They were 12th in net yards per attempt against, generated 18 interceptions from the secondary alone from defensive backs. If you brought back the exact same 3 guys, Gilmore on like a year-by-year kind of deal, Shaq Griffin on a slight raise, maybe 1 year, $6 million. I thought Shaq was actually severely underrated last year, and you re-signed Murphy to the big deal. Would you be pleased, Luke Braun, with that outcome if you just got the gang back together at cornerback?
Elder abuse, man. You can't be doing that to Gilmore.
Was he bad? Do you think he was bad? I don't think he was
I think
bad.
Shaq Griffin was... They were hidden.
For the price,
that's the word.
Though.
That's
for
the word I'm looking for. For the price, like, I think it would be fine. I wouldn't spend a lot of time thinking about it. Be like, oh, okay. Yeah. I do think that there's probably an opportunity to do better than that this offseason, and like they run the zone coverage behind blitzes. They're not doing that because it's cute. They're doing that because they got dudes that can't man cover.
Yeah.
Give me a dude that can man cover. Like that's what I think the important thing is. And what sucks is right now, like if they had to play a game tomorrow, they don't have enough bodies to. So you just got to get bodies in the room.
I think Shaq Griffin is a body signing is the way I would be interpreting.
Right, and he was CB3. He came off the field
Yeah.
when there were only 2 corners on the field. And probably still would be, depending on how your chip data looks on Stephon Gilmore, if he can still run or if he should be put in a home.
Yeah.
But
or no in between.
Gilmore's probably the guy that realistically you upgrade from, because I really think there's a world where Murphy would come back and then Shaq would come back. I think there could be another one.
He's CB3,
and then you're open to upgrade the Gilmore position. I think that
you've got Blackman competing with like either an incoming free agent or
Leathern, a free agent. Yeah.
Mike Hilton, baby.
If we like blitzing, we're bringing Mike Hilton. Dude.
Like, think of a better fit. Come on.
What do you expect from Dwight McLeathern and Mekhi Blackman for next season? Alexander wonders. I mean, I think it's really hard to commit to Blackman as your week 1 starter. It'd have to be a competition situation.
Yeah. Hopefully he can win a starting job, and hopefully Dwight McLeathern can win a roster spot.
Hey, Iro said we manned up the Packers receivers pretty good. Yeah, man, we manned them up so well that Josh Jacobs was like, we need a wide receiver 1.
But that group sucks. So
they're not good.
Vikes were in man about 20 to 30% of the time this year. You want that to increase schematically.
What's league
I
average?
want them to have the luxury of increasing it. Yeah. They did that because the dudes couldn't handle manning up like real receivers.
Right.
And so then they had to do zone, and then guess who carves up zones? Jared Goff and Matt Stafford.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a rough situation to be in where like the division leader / I guess your new division rival, I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, the team to beat
is the one that has the, passcodes to your defense, right? Like it's pretty bad.
Well, maybe that guy went to Chicago where they don't have anybody on the roster, so maybe that broke up. But it's the concern is twofold. It's that you need to get enough people, but you also need to like hit on all of those signings.
Yeah.
And if you have bad corners again, you can zone off again a whole bunch. Like they didn't ask a lot of Stephon Gilmore. He played a lot of underneath flat zones and a lot of just like kind of backing off and keeping things in front of him in cover 3. And when they started to ask him to man cover, they asked him to do that a lot more against the Rams the first time on Thursday Night Football, and he got absolutely shredded.
Yeah.
And if you can't do that, we've found this interesting schematic answer, but it feels very tenuous. So
this kind of reminds me. I don't know why. I'm thinking back to 2004. I want to say 03 or 04. Tice. And it's like, okay, they needed a cornerback. They got some money. There's a handful of good options. It was like Troy Vincent and like Dre Bly, I want to say. But like, you got to go out and nail it. You got to go find your cornerback one that, is a playmaker, a guy you can really build around. You can keep in the building and be a part of the future for the next 3, 4, 5 years. I think that's where you start. And then the trickle effect, if you do want to bring back a Shaq Griffin for a little bit cheap, draft a guy, whatever it may be, bring in guys like Mekhi Blackman for competition and just let the best man win for 2, 3, and 4, whatever it is. But yeah, they got to go nail that. If they're going to go spend some money, 20 mil, I know the cap goes up a lot every year, but like 20 mil seems expensive for the Byron Murphy I saw, as good as he was, Pro Bowl player last year. Seems a little expensive. Again, maybe it ends up being more like 16, 17, 18, but whatever they do with that money at cornerback or safety for that matter, which we'll get to here in a second, but they got to get their bang for the buck, and they really got to nail somebody that they can just have some stability for the next 3, 4 years and really count on that guy to be that kind of alpha cornerback 1 in the room. Right now, they just don't have anybody. It's like we talk about what's the biggest needs for the Vikings this offseason. Performance-wise, from what we saw last year, my mind goes to like interior offensive line. But at least you still have 3 starting bodies in there. Brandel, Bradbury, Ingram. Say what you want about him, that's fine. But like you've got guys under contract. Cornerback, there's just nobody in the room, man. So they got a lot of work to do. Yes, they have a lot of money. Unfortunately, not a lot of draft picks, but they have to bring in some warm bodies here just to fill that room. And one of them hopefully they can nail as that cornerback one.
Yeah, I have the simplest goal. The simplest goal for this offseason. Let's have a room that you can project into 2026 to the slightest degree. Let's just have
What a dream.
someone
my God,
under a
Sam.
multi-year deal. That's a
Fly
very
in the
someone
sky.
under a multi-year
Come
deal
on,
that's-
dude.
That's on a rookie scale.
Imagine
ask
having
for
a
a lot.
cornerback next year. We haven't had that since COVID.
I mean,
Since
some of them
Trey
have been on the
Wayne's
con-
left. They've
Since
never
Trey-
got a corner in the room better than him. It's insane.
It's insane. It's insane, man. I mean, they have missed. I mean,
What's incredible is if they had re-signed Trey Waynes, they still wouldn't have gotten better.
He never played another snap, right?
Wayne's had
he got hurt in the
Wayne's
offseason when he got hurt
signed
again.
last and he
He's
was
selling hunting goods in
out.
Wisconsin now. He's chilling.
He's living. I think he's happier now. From what I know, I think
Oh,
he's
for
happier
sure.
now. Yeah,
Trey Waynes did not like football. That is like an open secret. He
Yeah,
did
yeah,
loves
no, he'll-
hunting and fishing. Yeah,
He says it now. Like he'll be, yeah, that sucked. Now I have my little business
Yeah.
out in the woods in Wisconsin.
now,
He's as happy as a
now
clam.
I'm living my life using my passion now. It wasn't
that
football.
rules, dude. That rules. Anyway, that guy who hated football and loved hunting, he was our best scorer.
Yeah.
Did you see what the news on my guy Asante Samuel? This was a few weeks ago.
Are we talking junior or are we talking senior?
Junior, the guy that I want to sign if they don't bring back Byron Murphy.
Bring back
Apparently,
senior.
Bring back
apparently-
senior.
Bring back senior. Yeah.
He fessed
He's not
up
that
to
much older than
having
Gilmore,
like
right?
a chronic lifelong shoulder issue. That is what sent him on the injured reserve last year, and he's like,
Oh,
yeah,
that's how he ended up a Charger. That makes sense.
yeah.
Yeah, that's very Chargers of him.
Actually,
Yeah.
there's another injury-prone Charger that I would like to sign, and we will tell you who that is after this on the Minnesota Football Party. Brought to you today by FanDuel. When the game tips off, NBA action is just getting started because you can bet live at FanDuel. Yes, with FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, you can make live bets throughout the game. You can bet on like the way the next basket is going to get scored or the first team to reach 10 points. There's a lot of different options at FanDuel. You can also do a live same game parlay with those live lines. I, for one, think that the Timberwolves always start slow and then they frantically come back. So if they fall behind early, take the Wolves live line. Probably the best bet to make. Right now, new FanDuel customers can get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Visit FanDuel.com to get started today. FanDuel.com for your shot at $150 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. All right, free agency preview rolls on. We're going to stay on the secondary theme and talk safeties. I'm going to pay off the tease right away. So Asante Samuel, injury-prone Charger, maybe a cornerback candidate. I will toss out the name Elijah Molden. Elijah Molden, traded to the Chargers in the 4th year of his rookie deal. It's very good. It's very good for the Chargers last year. Minor setback in the second to last game of the season. He broke his leg. He broke his fibula. Now that's serious business.
That's what
but
you
also
want. Yeah.
broken legs.
That's what you want. Just real
Broken
grit.
legs heal. This isn't a ligament issue. These things heal faster than you would think. This is very crazy to find a guy
it is
who
very
is
crazy,
playing
yeah.
great and is a little diminished in value. He's 26, great in run support. They had him playing more free safety with the Chargers. But
the Chargers had so many injuries in the back end that they
Yeah.
moved a bunch of the guys around. So
also, if I think
Still has to see
Harrison's
proof
return
of concept.
influences this too. Like,
Yeah, for
because
sure.
Who has played next to Harrison Smith and not been good? Like Xavier Woods, Andrew Sendejo.
Andrew Sendejo had
Andrew
his
Sendejo
not
has
great
been
moments.
very good and not very good.
Yeah, he had some moments where he was not. His best moment was when he was not playing next to Harrison Smith and was playing in the slot. Of all things.
Wild game.
Was that the last good corner we had in the room?
Yeah. Yes.
slot Sendejo.
Him and Newman,
Oh
I guess.
my God.
Yeah, Terrence Newman, old man Newman.
Yeah.
God,
No, you're
this
right,
one is
Sam.
insane.
It all starts with Bynum and Harry, right? Like it's
Yeah.
kind of how much is he projected, by the way? Because I just pulled up a top 10 free agent safety list. He's not even on this list, so I'm
Bynum?
assuming he's a little bit more affordable. I'm assuming, right?
No, that's just
14.25 a year for Bynum,
that-
according to the Spielberger PFF projections.
How about the guy you're
whatever-
talking about, Sam?
Whatever
Oh.
list you pulled up, Luke. Wait, are you talking about Molden? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm talking
Molden,
about Molden.
4.5 a year.
Yeah.
1 year, 4.5. Yeah, super Quasey.
Yeah, the
Very
injury
Quasey move.
issues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, like so obviously this would like probably end up costing a fair amount, but Talanoa Hufanga, who's actually projected to cost 12.5 under PFF, he's really versatile. He knows how to get his hands on the ball. Last year wasn't as good for him, but it was
He's
better.
a dude. He had a wrist injury last year, and then the ACL the year prior. He's a dude, though. Wasn't he first team All Pro in 2 years ago? When he was healthy.
And his second,
dude
he's outstanding. So he's a guy that because of those injuries and because of a recent decline in play, which I think he'll recover from. He might be kind of a high-end type of Quasi signing where it's like you're buying kind of a dip in the market. And I love him, so I'm a little bit biased, but I thought, he was an outstanding player in college. I thought he was outstanding when the 49ers were finally able to play him, which I don't think he played his rookie year, if I remember correctly, or not that much. But he's an outstanding player, in my opinion. So he could be kind of, if we're kind of middling between a really high-end safety and kind of like your Molden type, which I wouldn't mind bringing Molden in or anything like that.
Yeah.
I think that he could be a guy that seems really cool. So
yeah, I like him a lot. He's only 26 years old, I want to say too. So for 12 and a half, what's Bynum being projected? I feel like I heard some high numbers.
14 and a half.
Yeah.
But I think once you get to the top level, it's a little bit. I think the margins of error get a little higher.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I like him for 12. I really like him. Again, when he was healthy, he was an absolute baller. Wrist last year, only 26 years old. I think it was the ACL the year prior. So kind of a Quasi thing, to your point. Like maybe he can go out, try to see if he can get him at a discount with back-to-back injury-riddled seasons, maybe a little bit more of a gamble for some teams. But I feel like when healthy, he's a dude and would probably be an upgrade in certain areas too. You brought up Chin earlier as well. I've always liked Chin. I mean, again, doesn't fit the Flores scheme per se, but Flores is just going to find a way to maximize his player's best skill set.
He doesn't fit necessarily what Flores has done in Minnesota, but the stuff that Flores has done in New England and a little bit in Miami, maybe kind of like a Jabril Peppers, maybe like an Eric Rowe. I mean, there's ways to use Jeremy Chin.
Yeah. They'll find a way. It probably means a little bit less stuff in the box from like Josh Metellus, which I don't know if you necessarily want to do that.
Don't love that, but I mean, guys, we're talking about replacing like 5 different dudes potentially. I mean, Flores is going to wait. It's all going to dictate Flores.
Also, it wouldn't shock me if
who the guy.
It wouldn't shock me if Quasi signed Jeremy Chin and then Flores was like, "Yeah, that's our linebacker."
Right.
I could see a world too where like they don't end up with like 3 true starting corners and 3 true starting safeties. Like they could be just a normal nickel team all of a sudden.
Oh, that's so boring. Hey, where'd Sam go? That was really offensive what you just said. Sam wasn't handling
Sam
it's all right,
bailed out. His camera, he lost his camera again.
Of course.
But it's a bummer that he's gone, because I was going to say that's kind of why I like what you're saying, Luke, is why I like Sam's Elijah Molden idea. It's very Quasi, it's very efficient, and it gives you a player you can put on the field. He's not going to be the focal point of it, and that's okay. You've got Metellus for that, and then maybe you can do something splashier on the other side. How do y'all feel about Justin Simmons, but only in the world where Harrison Smith retires and you feel like you want
I like Simmons.
I'm okay with that.
He was part of it. Yeah, didn't do as well with Atlanta, but bad defense. First year, new scheme. I think
no pass rush. Yep.
Yeah, get him with Flores.
I think his movement has fallen off drastically. That's my concern, is that he was an outstanding center field free safety. He did some good stuff in the box, but he was an outstanding center field free safety. A lot of that was built. He wasn't like an Earl Thomas speedster, but he did rely on his speed, right? And I feel like in Atlanta, his speed has fallen off. So I'd be a little bit concerned, but I don't think he would be bad in the box. I think that you're probably not going to be overspending for him just based off of the year that he had. He's a very smart guy. You always want to bring those guys in. So I don't know. I'm a little bit less enthused, I think, than you are, just because I think that there's a physical limitation here. But I wouldn't be opposed. I would be careful.
By the way, Jeremy Chin, I mean, he's got some slot skills as well, too. Speaking of just versatility, I know he'll be down in the box, but he looked okay at least a year or two ago when I watched him last, kind of more in depth, I should say. But they were lining him up inside at slot, at corner, so a little bit more versatility there too. What about Javon Holland? Is he?
Yeah,
going to go for too
Chad
much?
wants to know about Javon Holland.
Yeah.
Apparently, he's going to be like the big money guy.
Okay.
He's the
Okay.
Trace.
Yeah.
Smith of this,
24
I
years
guess.
old only. He's already played 4 years.
Yeah, going to be 25.
Yeah, and he might get 20. Yeah, he might get 20 million a year. So that would be tough.
Okay.
Holland, I like a lot. He feels like free safety / slot corner. I know Miami did play him in the box a decent amount.
Mm-hmm.
But he feels like somebody I'd rather just kind of have up high and then maybe play in the slot a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
There's obviously room in the defense for that, but I just feel like if you're going to pay 20 million, and you're going to put him in a Flores defense, you're going to kind of want him to do everything a safety can do. So I think he's worth 20 million for some team. I don't think he's worth 20 million for the Vikings.
That's fair. How about Justin Reed? I mean, maybe getting
Hell
up
yeah.
there a little bit, but like
No,
he's
hell
been
yeah.
balling, dude. He's
I'm
and
here.
talk about
Let's do it.
versatile man coverage skills too. Like, can I leave any of these guys in the secondary out on an island one-on-one with anybody? I know Justin Reed's a safety, so not the first thing you think of is man coverage skills, but that dude, he's pretty sticky for a safety. And I know he's had like 85 plus tackles, which, okay, tackles, whatever, but like in 3 straight years. I mean, he's just always around the ball. He's always
Durable.
been very
No,
productive,
he,
durable, rock solid.
A lot of his tackles are in the run game. He is a very aggressive,
Yes.
very good run. No, I'm here for. I'm 100% enthusiastic. Let's go get Justin Reed. He's like 28. He's not that old.
Yeah.
He plays in the box a lot. He plays free a decent amount. He plays in the slot a decent amount. I don't know. That might be like just in terms of cost and return. Like he's projected to get around similar to Bynum, I think, something like 15, 14. Hell yeah.
Man,
I think he's better than
I would
Bynum.
swap out Bynum. No offense to Bynum at all, but I would swap
Yeah.
out Bynum for Reed if it was the same price all day long.
Yeah.
Even if it was another
love
mill
him.
or two, to be totally honest, I would.
I love that. And the Marcus Epps reunion that Alexander suggests. Marcus Epps.
Yeah.
We
The
got
one
to
that
stop
got
doing
away.
this. We got to stop doing this.
Marcus Epps and Mike Hughes coming back.
I saw that.
Come on
The
back.
Let's right some wrongs.
Bring
Let's
back
write some
bring back Xavier Woods too. He's a free agent because why not?
there you
And
go.
then
Yeah.
how about Marcus Williams? Just for the laughs.
Yeah, sure.
I feel like he has to don a Viking jersey at some point.
At some
He-
point,
I mean,
right?
he's been rumored as a Viking for like a half second, right? So why not? Just bring him in.
Yeah. Like I feel like you just have to.
Just
Like,
for the
hey man,
laughs. Yeah.
remember
It's like when
us.
it's like when
You know,
it's like when
when
Brandon
they bring
Bolden
in
tried
their-
out for the Vikings. You know, it's like
Yeah.
fans love him so much. Let's make it official for a sec.
You know when they bring in their free agent signings and they do the whole thing and they sign
Oh,
they sign the
contract for
paper.
Marcus Williams.
So he can retire a Viking.
Yeah. Hang the banner, man.
You're gonna honor him at halftime. Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody in the chat asks when we should expect an announcement from Harrison Smith. There is a club option in his contract on March 15th that the Vikings have to activate to extend him, I think. Or no, it's the other way around. They have an option to terminate the contract, but it must be terminated by March 15th or else it like transforms into something else. So I'm going to guess a decision from the Vikings on Harrison Smith has to happen by that date. In terms of whether or not Harrison Smith decides he's going to keep playing football, I think that probably is beyond the like terms of the contract, and he's going to take as long as he's
Do you know what
He'll probably tell us while he's like flying over northern Minnesota. We
Yeah.
get like a video.
Yeah.
make a video on a
like the
fishing
Jared
boat in a small
Allen,
lake.
the Jared Allen retirement video on the horse.
Yeah,
Like, he's up
rule.
in the plane. He's up in the plane.
Hall of Famer now.
Hall of Famer.
That's right. Hall of Famer Jared Allen. Better than I think most people remember, honestly.
Yeah.
That's going to be a good speech.
Luke,
I
you,
was
you said just real quick, Luke, you said that on March 15th, the contract transforms into something. Do you know what like it transforms into exactly?
It's really weird, or at least the way it's listed on Over the Cap is weird.
Marculous.
Maybe we can ask somebody from there.
Got it.
But it's like deadline to void the contract. But that's not usually. It just says contract voids as if it's an automatic thing. So I don't think it's
which
an
is-
automatic thing. And on some other like websites, Harrison Smith is listed as not a pending free agent.
Yeah.
So I think the contract does continue if nobody does anything,
Okay.
but there's like a very clear out.
Deadline to
Yeah,
void
I
is
would
crazy.
assume the last
It's
time
weird.
they restructured that or whatever, happened, they probably
Or to
put in
terminate,
some
maybe.
some pretty solid edges to give them an out, knowing that, okay, 50-50,
Yeah,
if not
yeah.
more, that he's going to retire.
Not
So
that
let's
it-
make sure we
The
protect
whole deal
ourselves
has been
here.
like that for like 3 years.
Yeah, and not that it like matters because I don't think he'd sign anywhere else. I think it's he stays here or he
for sure.
retires.
Mhm.
But the deadline to void language does prevent the Vikings from getting a compensatory pick if I understand that correctly. If he does sign, so which probably not.
Yeah, probably won't come up, but yeah.
While we wait for Ron Johnson, who's going to join shortly, Burrito Bill, wondering how many players the Chargers and Vikings have shared over the past few years. Are there a lot? I feel like
I
I'm
don't.
not
I don't think it's a ton.
coming up with
It's more of a
yeah.
spiritual connection between the two franchises.
Jeremiah
Yeah.
Searles, was he a Charger?
Yeah,
Yeah, he
and
was.
Mike Harris,
Was there a D lineman like Shamar Stephan or something?
probably. Yeah.
Or
was
Fetty?
Linval.
Jerry Tillery.
Linval was
Linval. Tillery.
Linval was
There
a
you go.
Charger.
Oh, that seems
Kendricks-
cursed. Actually, I don't
Kendricks
like
was a
T.Y.
Charger.
McGill.
Kendricks. Yeah.
that. Do you want to get
I just
They've
pulled up the
got a lot of
PFR
our
page
guys.
for exactly this. Blake Lynch, Troy Dye.
Blake Lynch? Wow. Okay, a bunch
Oh.
from that era of special teamers.
Okay.
How about Storm Norton?
Yeah, Storm Norton's a classic. I think Storm
Starting
was
tackle
Chargers
for the
first,
Chargers.
right?
Wow. Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
He was. Yeah.
No, he was a rookie in Minnesota and never made the team.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I thought he started. Okay.
Dan
And then he
Dan
started
Feeney,
for
yeah.
the Chargers on purpose for
Oh,
years.
right.
On purpose, yeah. A choice that
It was
they
insane
made.
to me.
single-handedly killed the Brandon Staley era.
Ben Lieber.
Oh, right.
Gonna go back a little more.
Fever. Yeah.
Huh.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, original Charger.
Big name in Ed White back in the 70s.
Ed White.
Obviously.
Originally,
yeah, Ed
I
White,
believe in college he was a defensive tackle, and he shows up with the Vikings, and they're like, "You are a guard."
Speaking of Mike Harris.
Yeah.
Mike Remmers also.
Oh
Tackle from
yeah,
the
Mike Reynolds. Yeah, a
Mm.
lot of
Write these
offensive
down
linemen.
for your immaculate grids, folks.
Yeah. I was
kidding.
saying we were playing an immaculate grid right now.
I think that's why Pro Football Reference has these pages for like
Yes,
comparisons
For
that
cheaters.
you can just run down.
For cheaters.
For cheaters. Luke Inman's prospect of the day next, plus Ron Johnson from who knows where.
Nick Vigil.
Brought to you today by LinkedIn Jobs. As a small business owner, your work doesn't end when the clock hits 5. Your business is always on your mind. So when it's time to hire, you need a partner that works just as hard as you do. And that's where LinkedIn Jobs comes in, because when you clock out, LinkedIn clocks in. They make it easy to post your job for free, share it with your network, get qualified candidates all in one place. Their new feature, Post Your Job, can help you write job descriptions and quickly get the job in front of the right people with deep candidate insights. Pro tip, add the hashtag hiring frame to your profile picture to double your reach to qualified candidates. No wonder 72% of small businesses say LinkedIn helps them find high quality hires. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedonnfl, linkedin.com/lockedonnfl to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply.
Game time.
Game time.
Also want to throw Darren Nelson in.
Oh, of course.
Oh, Darren Nelson.
You dropper.
Yeah. Famously became a Charger as part of the Herschel Walker trade because he refused to play for Dallas.
I respect that, I guess, but like missed out in a ring, right?
They were bad at the time. He didn't know.
I tried to compile the full list, and I think I came up a couple short. So we've done Benjamin Morrison, cornerback, Kenneth Grant, defensive tackle, Tyler Brooker, a guard, Noel Williams, mid-round corner. Arif had a guy from Middlebury whose name escapes me every time, and I think I missed one.
Thomas
but,
Perry, who was not invited to the combine, by the way. What in the world?
Ridiculous.
Hmm.
So today's prospect of the day, drum roll.
Yeah, I was going to go kind of chalk. I was going to go defensive tackle, another first-round guy. I was going to go Walter Nolan, Ole Miss. But I think we shelf that for next episode. We talk about a secondary guy, just given all the talk of corners and safety today. There is a dude from Florida. in their secondary. A lot of length, a lot of versatility. I feel like is really intriguing for Flores in this defense, and that's Triquez Bridges. If you followed the Gators at all, which nobody does, so why would you? But they sucked this year. They were really bad right out the gate. Terrible start. They kind of got hot at the end.
Really selling me on this guy.
Well, hold on. They got hot at the end, okay? They played spoiler in a lot of big games. He was a big part of that defense when they were playing at their best those final 7 weeks. 6'2" and change, 200 pounds, played safety, played corner, played nickel, led the team in tackles, couple picks this year, a handful of PBUs, I want to say 5, multiple forced fumbles, again, safety, corner, nickel, kind of did it all on the back end. He was always around the ball, just a good nose for the ball. Huge prospect coming out of high school. I can't verify that he was a 5-star, but I just know everybody wanted this kid. Bama, Ohio State, LSU, Georgia, Penn State. Ends up going to Oregon. He's got 3 picks there in 2022. Then he transfers. I watched 3 games. The Kentucky game, by far, if you're going to go watch a game, the Kentucky game, that was maybe the best or the funnest game, I guess I watched. 11 tackles. He had a pick. He had a forced fumble all over the field that day. Really showed kind of some NFL big boy talent. I want to say size, length, physicality. He's got all that stuff. Checks those boxes. I don't know what he's going to run. I have no idea. I have no idea the exact measurements. We'll see what he does in Indy. For that fact, I don't really see him on a lot of like top 10 lists as far as safeties or corners go. So I have no idea where he's going to be projected or where he's ultimately going to go. But whether it's that, late third or one of those 2 fifths, I'm just very intrigued with this guy as a kind of give Flores a young, versatile kind of chess piece to start developing. We've talked about missing on a lot of cornerbacks early in the draft the last 4 or 5 times with Jeff Gladney, Mike Hughes, Booth, Caleb Evans, all these guys. I think you still got to keep swinging here. I think, you can't just lean into free agency forever. So Triquez Bridges, Florida, check him out. Again, I don't hear a lot of name or buzz about him on, lists or mock drafts or things like that. But I'm intrigued about this guy. And again, I think he not only makes a lot of sense for Flores with the versatility and the length, man coverage, all that, but fills a huge need, obviously, too, whether it's corner or whether it's safety. So I like him a lot.
J-Ron Curse got it.
J-Ron Curse, not 6'4", not 6'4", yeah, not 6'4", but he's up there.
Ron Johnson joins on location. I see a mountain. I see a pool. I see some foliage.
Come on.
It's beautiful.
Hey, Ron, we have a little bit of money on this. Is that pool on a balcony?
It is. It is. It's,
all right.
Pay the balcony bets.
Do you currently have any beverages, Ron?
I do not. We're golfing in like 2 hours. So
Dang, man.
I had golf. I was just 2 hours early. Shoot.
Yeah, I had cigar and or a drink in hand. So maybe I was a
I
couple
got the
hours.
cigar cutter. I got the
Okay.
cutter right here, but
He's got
Okay,
all
I'll
the
tell
pool.
Vegas.
That
I'll
doesn't
tell
that
Are
Vegas.
you
doesn't
in
count.
that pool
Doesn't
right
count.
no, I was gonna get in it. I mean, it's right here. I was gonna get in
Okay.
it, but I figured the noise might start to.
Right. Yeah. No, I appreciate your commitment to the quality. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're jealous of you. It's about -30 here. We were talking secondary today, and the report that the Vikings are leaning re-signing Cam Bynum over Byron Murphy because they're both going to be pretty costly. If you had to choose one, Ron, which direction would you lean?
So the reason I'm guessing that is happening is maybe and Sam, we threw out some names of corners that are out there that they could get that you liked as well. So maybe they're going for a different corner, and then Cam Bynum thinking about the Harrison Smith move off, like maybe it's one more year. We had Robert Griffith on the show last week, and he talked about that. We just had Jasper Brinkley on the show, and he talked about that. So it sounds like Harrison Smith's kind of up in the air. He has some decisions to make. So I think the Cam Bynum signing is because if you lose Harry and you lose Cam's Bynum, you don't have anybody that knows this Flores defense from a back-end standpoint. And so my guess is it's the safeties get guys lined up. You kind of want to have, like Jasper talked about, you want to have that green dot to the safety, to that nose, kind of to solidify with those 2 ends. And I think that's where they're working. Corner with Flores' defense, the way they get after the quarterback and they use the linebackers to rush. Not to say they can get any corner, but I think there's some other corners out there they probably like.
Inman, what do you got for Ron?
Hey,
Johnson?
Ron, I don't know if I got your take or 2 cents reaction, I guess, on Ben Johnson going to the Bears. Just what do you think about this division now that the dust is kind of settling this year? Lions Super Bowl favorite, came up a couple games short again. Obviously, Packers, we know their situation. And then the Bears now with this new head coach and young quarterback. Where do you think the Vikes kind of fit in with their J.J. McCarthy, their young players, and then obviously a lot of holes to fill, but obviously a lot of money in free agency as well? What do you think about the NFC North right now going into 2025?
I mean, the Lions and Vikings are going to be 1A, 1B. They didn't lose players. They lost coaches. But they didn't lose players. And so, I mean, they're going to lose some players, but not their top guys, because we know Aaron Glenn's going to pick off some. We know Ben Johnson's going to pick off some. Ben Johnson's taking coaches. Aaron Glenn is taking coaches. So from a coaching standpoint, we'll see how much Dan Campbell really had his thumbprint on this defense and his offense. Or was it Ben Johnson's offense and was that Aaron Glenn's defense? I lean towards Campbell probably helped out with the defensive mentality more so than the offensive mentality. So I not to say they're a struggle. I mean, they still got running backs. They still got receivers. They still got Stafford. Goff. But I'm concerned about that. So, but I would say 1A, 1B right now. I honestly, like with the coaching losses, I want to lean to Vikings are 1A and the Lions are 1B. And then I'm still going to go Packers, Bears. I think the Bears have a lot to go before they, I mean, I know Ben Johnson's a smart guy. Caleb Williams ran the type of offense that Ben Johnson wants to run. But again, who's going to keep you safe? Who's going to stop the big bad men from getting after you? And the Bears have a long way to go.
I'm going to cut off Luke Braun from asking you a question just so I can hit our breaking news sounder. Would love to do this on the show. Aaron Rodgers has been informed he will not be back as a Jet. Man.
Oh,
Sam, your audio's going a little wonky just real quick.
Sam went through a tunnel.
Yeah, but
Aaron Rodgers
has been
officially
informed.
He's released.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Yeah. It was, the writing was on the wall.
Oh, no. Wow.
Anyway.
Couldn't have it to a better person.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we got you.
Me?
Yeah.
Yep.
Just wanted the Ron reaction where he thinks Rodgers will land.
If the Raiders don't pull the trigger on like Shedeur Sanders or somebody, I could see the Raiders and Pete Carroll with that older coach getting an older quarterback. Pete Carroll, everywhere he's gone, he's always found a way to get the best out of his players, whether it's USC, wherever he goes. And so I could see Aaron Rodgers maybe want to look at the Raiders. The funniest thing about that, though, is will they try to get Devontae Adams to come back to the Raiders?
I was just going to ask that.
Because it's so funny. Like, you instead of you being smart enough to say, D, you stay, I'm going to come over there next year. You did all this magical unveiling of Devontae Adams showing up, and you still were terrible. So, yeah, I can see Devontae Adams going back to the Raiders. So, I mean, it's a different coaching staff, different group. Devontae just wanted out because of the quarterback situation. Mm-hmm. If Aaron happens to go there with Brock Bowers, I mean, that's some weapons over there.
Any chance you think he retires and hangs it up? Like what percentage?
The dude is rich. Like he's filthy rich.
50-50?
Like there's no reason. I mean, the only reason
it seems like that doesn't make him happy though, right? Like
I know, and that's what I was gonna say. The only thing about guys like him and Tom Brady,
I don't know if football makes him happy anymore.
They and I don't think so either. But I think that's it. The I told you so.
We get him on
Aaron
the Fox
Rodgers
crew.
Loves a good I told you so. And so I can do games better than Brady and Romo. The I told you so, like to show people like, look, the Jets were bad. And then if I was Aaron Rodgers, I would go like publicly, like I would go to the Raiders, kill it, and then publicly apologize to Zach Wilson and say, hey, it wasn't you, man, it's them. And that's
yeah,
there it is.
Well, Zach Wilson's going to be a backup in San Francisco or something, and
perfect.
Then come out and have some like random really good year with a team nobody expects,
like the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah,
right.
Sam Darnold and Geno Smith. That's what you do when you're a Jets bust.
The Jets are just a quarterback adversity incubator, right? Like that's
yeah.
If he goes to the Steelers, he'll be on the Vikings schedule next year. Have another.
And that could Thomas. Somebody asked Tony Dungy that question. Does he think that Mike Tomlin would take a guy like Aaron Rodgers? And they said, yeah, because Tomlin is the consummate culture guy, and he can like put Aaron in his place. And
he feels like he can. Yeah.
But I mean, I think he could control like even the like no more Pat McAfee. Like Aaron can wait on that. Like that's not bringing the team any positive media at all. So why do it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, back to the regularly scheduled interview. Luke Braun, what do you got?
Well, I was actually going to ask about like coach and QB dynamics. If Sam Darnold walks, which was also in the same Jeremy Fowler report we have been talking about, was that the league kind of has this expectation that Sam Darnold's going to be a free agent, that the Vikings will run ahead with J.J. McCarthy. So if Sam Darnold does hit the market, of all the QB needy teams in the league, which coach do you think works best with Sam Darnold's play style and his personality? Like, what's the best place for him?
I don't know. Like, because I'm trying to like. I mean, honestly, again, Pete Carroll, and the Raiders. Like, I think Pete Carroll's offense is built for a guy like Sam Darnold. It has a lot of checks, it has a lot of changes, it has a lot of kills. Like, you can kill any moment you want, which you shouldn't have done in the Super Bowl, but whatever. You could kill any moment you want. You can get to a pass from a run. You can get from a run to a pass. It's that West Coast style where there's a lot of help. The only thing about, and I haven't heard Kevin O'Connell's words, how he calls plays. The only thing about the West Coast style, it's really wordsy. And I don't know, and that's what the Jets had. And I don't know if that's what threw Sam Darnold off, or there's so many words. I mean, you guys have heard the Phil Simms mic'd up practice thing with John Gruden. Like, that stuff gets dumb.
Yeah.
Like, it's dumb.
The
It's
verbiage,
so dumb.
Yeah.
You might have given him play clock issues
Just
this year,
say
until they
scat
put
left,
Wes Phillips on the
just say scat
sideline.
left, trips right, 383, why stop? Simple. You don't need to go F angle
Piece of cake.
with the
Come on,
Z
dude.
return and blah, blah. Like, scat left, scat right. That's it. Zone left, zone right. So whatever you go your protection, scat left or right, go your formation, and then give the receivers the routes. From there, let the running back figure it out for himself and tag one guy. That's it. The West Coast tries to tag everybody, and it is so frustrating to hear. Like, I mean, it's easy on the players, but the quarterback, it's hard. It's like Y stop, Z flat, FH, X post on one, go. Like, what? Like, bruh, give me some numbers. Like 3, 8, 3, 2 outs and an 8 route. Like, Y stop. The Y now has a stop. Like, simple. So I don't know. That's that. I would say Pete Carroll though, because I think Pete Carroll is smart, and Sam Darnold needs that type of coach. He doesn't need a guy like Aaron Glenn, because that's going to be defense oriented. Brian Daboll is inept in my opinion right now. Like him and Matt Patricia are showing that it does not matter about Bill Belichick being in your blood. You can still screw it up.
Patricia's back with Belichick, by the way, North Carolina.
Yeah.
I know. That's what I just heard that. That's what I was like, I don't know. And again, he did well with Belichick. So clearly Belichick controls that. And that's why, like, when you see like Andy Reid lose people, I wonder how much of that offense is Andy Reid, or was it Bieniemy, or is it Matt Nagy? It's now Andy Reid. We know that. Like, he can take anybody. He could take Sam, and Sam could be his offensive coordinator, and the Chiefs would still go to the Super Bowl. So, like, I think there's some coaches that control it. Like, seriously, I mean, nothing against Kevin O'Connell and Wes Phillips. We know that's Kevin O'Connell's offense. Like, Wes Phillips going to another team, I think he will learn to be good, but he wasn't the reason why the Vikings did what they did. It was Kevin O'Connell. And so, I don't know. Aaron Rodgers needs a culture guy. Like, he can't go in with that, like, chest bump, Robert Saleh, you control the offense, I'll control the defense. He needs a guy to be in his ear and say, hey, look, man, you're old. Let me help you. Let's go out with a bang. Let's not go out limping. And I think that's what Aaron Rodgers wants for his legacy. Like, you don't want your legacy to be tainted by these last couple of years. Maybe he has one good year somewhere and then he retires.
Yes, I mean, I think that the fundamental issue that we've been, like, for the last 3 questions been talking about, I think speaks to this final question. We talked about, like, well, the Lions will still be good despite having lost basically every coach. And this coach will be important for Sam Darnold. How important relative to the amount of talent that you have on a team is coaching? Just at a fundamental level.
Yep. Yeah, no. So, like, if you think about Keenan McCardell and why the Vikings have continued to bring him back through different coaches, is because of what he gets out of his receivers. When you think about same with Reggie Wayne and the Colts, they brought him back through various coaches because of the receivers. You got to look at look at the Miami Dolphins. They kept Brian Flores' crew for the most part and fired Brian Flores. So, like, when you can keep a couple pieces to what can give you what you need out of the Dolphins defense, but then what they learned was it was Brian Flores. You can do whatever you want with my guys. Now, again, they did well under the new coach. He got them going offensively, but defensively, they have not been the same Dolphins that they were back when Flores was there. So, yeah, it's coaching is 100% part of it. I never understood how important a coach was until I became one, because I didn't see the other side of the coin. Like, I didn't see the, like, constant film study where you're trying to pick up any tendency possible to, hey, when this guy creeps, it's going to be cover 2. When this guy sits flat foot, it's going to be cover 3. Hey, when this DN moves 1 foot to the left and the whole line shifts, they're going to go to, whatever. Like, that stuff is what helps players be players versus, like, I'm guessing the Jets might have been a little bit of like, hey, just go out there and have fun, guys, and let's see what happens. Like, I just don't know if they were given that stuff. Like and that's why I say, like, Ben Johnson, to me, like, for him to understand how bad the Bears were on like mistake plays that became big plays, and then to create one, that's just a ton of film study. That's like watching how bad they are when things. I mean, hell, look at the Hail Mary. Like, dudes over there celebrating before a Hail Mary. Like, so, you know, I think Ben Johnson is a film guy. That's why I think he'll be good for the Bears. I mean, hell, he like that. Now you talk about the ultimate troll. He literally called your defense horrible and what did he say on discipline? And now he's their coach. So, like, how many?
Hey, it's your job now, buddy.
Right? How many defensive players watch that mic'd up segment or whatever, him saying that, and then they're like, "Damn, this dude's got to get us straight now." Like, you know,
super excited for the Jalen Johnson trade request.
Like, you know that's coming. Like, I don't.
Oh, that's going to be a good day.
That culture cannot sustain that clown show. But yeah, so coaching is highly important. That's why the Matt Patricia move to me feels more like a Belichick trying to help his friend out. More so than a guy.
Well, you saw that they signed LeGarrette Blount Jr. and Tannenbaum's son, right? Like, it's an all Nepo organization in North Carolina right now.
Correct.
Garrett Blunt Jr. I feel old, man.
Wow.
You should.
Wow.
Incredible.
I hear the birds chirping to taunt us. Ron is in his exotic location. You're dusting the clubs off in a couple hours. I'm guessing it's your first round in a while. What are you expecting out on the course?
I'm expecting at least 3 lost balls. Because there's like 4 holes you have to drive over water, and to clear the water, you either gotta lay up, which a lot of people do, or you gotta let the big dog eat, and you gotta drive it about 252 to clear.
Happy Gilmore that. Yeah.
So I've already posted a picture. It's actually this hole that our room can see it. So it's that hole there. So there's an alligator out there now waiting. There's people on the green. Back here is the tee box, like way back here. So you gotta like drive that like pond lake thing. It's like a lake that goes all the way through. So there's no like cheating it. But yeah, I've already posted on Instagram that my plan today is to try to crank out a 285, 290 on that hole and see if I can get it. But the problem is if you go left, you end up going in the pool because there's the resort is right next to that way.
All right, dude. Okay.
Yeah. So you don't want to hit it that far left. It's got to kind of be perfect and down the middle, because if you go too far left, then you'll go into the pool. And no, seriously, like, people, every time we're done golfing, we come back to the pool and people be laughing like, was that your ball? Because somebody is gonna go in the pool. Like, you gotta shank it bad though for that.
Titleist too, Pro V.
Yeah. So that's the one rule on that hole. We all have to mark our ball with like dots or your name or something, because there's other balls down there, because some people get down there and don't know where their ball is at. So my father-in-law cheats. A lot of people cheat, and so we make people mark that hole, because that's one where you're driving blind, so you really don't see where your ball lands. So you basically hit out. We're elevated, so you can't see when it goes down. And then once we drive down, and you get down and you start looking in the area, you think your ball might have landed, or if you don't find it, it's in the water with the alligator. And then there's like an alligator drop that says, "Do not come within 10 feet of this, because there's live gators in this thing and they can get out." So there's an actual alligator drop, so that you don't have to drop technically where your ball went in. They just say, go over to the alligator drop zone. It's safe. But yeah, like 7 years ago, we had a guy almost get bit by alligator because he didn't see the gator and decided to go over there and get his ball. And the thing reared his head up, tumble rolled and fell. Oh yeah,
nightmare fuel.
He almost got bit. Like, we had to basically kind of all like run a little bit to get the gator to like whip his head, and then the guy got up and ran away. But yeah,
teamwork makes the dream work.
Today?
All right.
Is he playing? Is he in the foursome today?
No, we didn't. We literally.
He doesn't come back now. He hasn't been back since.
That guy back. He's here. Like, we see him all the time here, but we haven't invited him back and he plays slow. Like, he's the guy that wants to find his ball every time. This is Mexico golf. It's like, look, if you don't find it, just take a free drop. Like, we know it's somewhere around here. Just keep it going. He like wants to go find his ball, and that's why he almost got bit, because he walked over to a spot where I would never go, which is mud and trees. So it's like a gator definitely is probably hiding over there somewhere. And so that was his. He almost had his own demise. Like, it's been his fault.
Yeah,
and that would have been the worst story ever, though. That a guy died getting barrel rolled underneath a lake in a like, I'm not jumping in. Like, there's no way I'm going to be Crocodile Dundee and save you.
Yeah, but that was the best story, right? Like, it was a high risk, high reward in terms of storytelling.
Oh yeah.
7
we
years
see him,
later.
We see him every once in a while.
telling the story.
The funny thing too, he's a surgeon. So he spent a lot of time golfing. So,
Oh man, that's unbelievable. Good luck on the course. I hope you
Appreciate it.
get it over the water. Hope you don't lose any limbs. And we'll talk to you next Thursday, Ron.
Yep. And then Tuesday, make sure you guys check out Elijah Spencer. He has some great PJ Flex stories, some great resilient stories, and some draft stories. Season stories about that Michigan game and that one-handed catch by Daniel Jackson.
Yeah. Great stuff. That's
Excellent.
on the next Ron Johnson show. Thanks a lot, Ron.
Appreciate it.
And that will do it for us today on the Minnesota Football Party. You can get our audio on the Locked On Vikings podcast feed. Check out Arif Hasan, Wide Left Substack, Luke Inman, covering the postcasts after every single game. Timberwolves Thunder tonight. I'll be there, Luke. I'll be in the building tonight.
Oh, let's go.
Let's go. My first game of the year.
Possible streaker situation here. Don't cause a delay. Too long delay.
All right, Sam. You're on
Come
watch.
on, Sam.
I'm
You're not going to glue your arm to the floor or anything?
I'm going to bring an anti-Glenn Taylor sign and then parade it around the court. Yeah.
It's a little, I mean, it's kind of like more of a victory lap than it is like a protest at that point, right?
Yeah, you should go the other way and say, bring him back.
Glenn seats have been conspicuously empty. You'll just go sit in Glenn's seat.
Glue your arm to the floor to demand he comes back, right? I hate the chickens,
yeah, right. That's what I'm talking about.
So that's my plan tonight. And then Luke Braun, Locked On Vikings, check that out as well. Thanks a lot for watching, listening, commenting, and subscribing to Locked On Sports Minnesota, and we will talk to you Monday.